Chapter 4. Never Surrender. 3 days later. Cal's point of view. "Cal, may I have a word with you?" Obi-Wan asks. Obi-Wan led me outside on the balcony where we could talk in private. "I'm afraid I have some bad news," he begins. "I had a feeling you were going to say that," I reply. "The Queen is about to possibly be re-elected, which means we need to leave." "We need a plan first," I imply. "We can't just run again, not without an idea first on where we're headed next." "Got an idea in mind?" he replies. "A fair few. Let's talk to the Queen. I'm sure she'll have an idea on what we can do." After we discussed our concerns with the Queen, she quickly gathered a starship for us to flee in. "Alright, before I head to the throne room, I want you to have this," she replies, handing me a journal. "I have a few friends of mine outside the palace walls. They're hiding on an outpost far away from here. This journal should help you navigate there, but there's one thing you need to keep in mind. The outpost is not one to take well to outsiders, so you have to be cautious while you're there. The Empire may find you there, but not if you keep a low profile for a few days." "Why are they on this outpost to begin with?" Obi-Wan replies. "They're meeting for one mutual cause, to fight back against the Empire," she replies. "Another partisan group? It's just like the ones I met on Kashyyyk," I reply. "Exactly. It has been an absolute honor to have met you all, especially you, Cal Kestis. I have faith that one day the galaxy will be restored." "Thank you, Apolana, for everything. Good luck. I pray you all have a safe journey throughout the galaxy." Time skip. "Nice new ship, Grease," I began as we entered. "Where's Annika?" says Obi-Wan. "She said she wanted to say goodbye to the Queen before departing," Man replies. I felt something in the pit of my stomach grow. The feeling was concerning. Definitely wasn't a good sign. "Annika's in trouble. Stay here. Come on, BD1. Time skip. Annika's point of view. "Hello? Let me out of here, you traitor!" I heard the sound of a blaster going off on the other side of my door. I quickly hid behind my closet until I heard a familiar voice. "Annika? It's me, Apolana." I heard the door unlock and quickly ran out. "What's going on?" I exclaimed. "Annika, the Empire has taken over. They already re-elected a new queen. My guards, friends, everyone. They're gone. You need to get yourself out of here before they find you." "What about you, though?" I implied. "I will continue to fight for my people, but first I'm going to get you out of here. Follow me. There's a secret passageway." I felt my heart pounding against my chest as we made our way outside the secret passage. "Keep going down this hall, and you should be able to find your ship outside. Don't wait for me." I nodded in response and began to leave until a handful of stormtroopers walked in. "What a lovely surprise," a voice called out. Apolana and I turned around to see an older woman, dressed in a violet gown, approach us. She almost didn't look real, due to her ghostly-looking figure. "You are under arrest for treason against the Empire. As for you, Apolana, you shall be executed for your crimes." For a moment, everything happened in slow motion. A blaster was fired, and all I did was watch, too stunned to move once I saw Apolana on the ground, her body now lifeless. I knew there was no time to mourn, as my adrenaline kicked in. I didn't look back once as I began to run away. I was almost there. All I had to do was make my way across the courtyard, and I'm home free. However, just when luck seemed to be on the horizon, it quickly dwindled. "Hello, Annika." That voice. And it wasn't just any. It was the Grand Inquisitor himself. "My, you are exquisite indeed. I can see why Cal Kestis is very fond of you." I glared at the Inquisitor with pure disgust. My nerves slowly kicked in, but I refused to show any fear on the outside. "I just want to have a little chat with you," he began. "I'd rather not," I replied. I held my blaster up defensively, but the Grand Inquisitor forced it out of my grip. I felt myself fly back, colliding with the wall. Struggling to sit up, the Grand Inquisitor walked over slowly. His yellowish-red eyes stared into my own. "I know all about you and your little friends, Annika. I know your past as well. Born from 2 Jedi Knights, which means you're a Force-sensitive child. I know you're frightened, as you should be." I watched as he pulled his lightsaber out, igniting it. "Tell me where he is, and I may consider sparing your life," he threatened. "Turn around," Cal chimed in. The Grand Inquisitor chuckled evilly, standing up as he saw Cal for the first time. The Grand Inquisitor slowly backed away from me, allowing an opening, but I still didn't move. "We finally meet, Cal Kestis." Cal's point of view. Seeing the Grand Inquisitor in person was much more intimidating than I imagined, but it was nothing compared to facing Darth Vader. However, I knew I shouldn't underestimate this guy either. I looked around at my surroundings, trying to find an opening to get near Annika. I slowly bent my knees, leaping off the ground just enough to get me in front of her. "Impressive. So you're the famous leader of this little Jedi Order. I admire your persistence, but your actions do have consequences. A brave young man you are indeed, but also foolish and reckless. Tell me, Cal Kestis, why lead when they won't follow? Why fight when you can't win?" I slowly stepped backwards and spread my feet into a square stance, while my left arm reached out in front of Annika. I raised my right arm up as an eruption of energy, of a blue light, ignited from my lightsaber. The Grand Inquisitor lunged towards me, faster than the speed of light. I barely got my blade up, quickly saving myself from his aggressive strikes. I tried to parry the attack, and took a step forward with my lightsaber following, but the Grand Inquisitor dodged the swing with swift precision. He angled his blade for an upward strike, which I was quick enough to shield. Our blades clashed in a crackling frenzy, pressing against each other's strengths, but neither of us gave in. "Such disappointment. I thought you put up more of a fight than this," the Grand Inquisitor taunts. "You'll find out that I'm just full of surprises," I replied. I quickly jump up and flip over the Grand Inquisitor, swiping my blade down towards his back, but the Grand Inquisitor quickly turned around, reaching his hand out, forcefully pushing me down on the ground. I roll over, dodging his blade quickly, while getting back up on my feet. From the corner of my eye, I could see a red starship approaching. I nearly got blasted away from the cannons, but it did manage to separate the Grand Inquisitor from Annika and I. "Hurry up, kid! We're out of time!" Grease yells over the comlink. Annika ran to the ship as the platform began to open. I followed closely behind, turning my lightsaber off and attaching it to my belt. The ship was about to take off until I leaped up, barely making it on. That is, until I felt something grasp my ankle, pulling me backwards. I quickly grabbed the ledge of the platform, struggling to hold on. I looked down to see a purge trooper was holding on to me by a thread. I tried kicking him off, but he wouldn't budge. Annika aimed her blaster towards the purge trooper. The sound of a bolt passed my right ear, missing the trooper. He began to reach up and got a grip on my lightsaber, yanking it off my belt. Just as I tried getting it back, Annika had shot a second time, successfully hitting the trooper. His grip loosened on my ankle, but he had taken my lightsaber down with him as he hit the pavement. "Cal, you've got to push yourself up. I can't pull you up." I quickly did as I was told and pulled myself up the ramp, running inside with Annika as the door shut. "That was quite the risk you took there, Cal," Marin begins. "Yeah, and I already paid for it," I replied. "Looks like you'll have to start using a blaster," Obi-Wan replies. It was one thing not to have a lightsaber, but that was the one thing I had left of Master T'Pol and Seer. I almost felt defenseless without it. "Cal, I'm so sorry. I know how much that lightsaber meant to you," Annika began. "It's okay. I'll adjust. We need to stay focused on the mission at hand." We all sat down in the main corridor, already going through the book Apolana gave us. "Well, kid, where are we headed?" says Grease. "Set a course for Batu." End of Chapter 4.